I think I mentioned Vertex and Amgen last week. They were, both kind of on the verge of breaking out, and did break out, and both of them look really strong. And I mentioned how these might be a little bit slower moving, but I mean these are working right now. The very tight action that it had, a lot of flat bases. This is something else that I mentioned last week, that the flat bases were what was really looking the most attractive to me. You see a lot of them out there, and the ones that are holding up tended to make these flat bases, as opposed to kind of having more of a downtrend in them. So yeah, I'm looking at a lot of flat bases. Vertex, Amgen, Regeneron, a few of these big biotech companies have made these patterns, and they're breaking out, holding up. The relative strength line is up there. Now, these are not as speculative. They have a lot of things in their pipeline. They have a lot of established drugs already. So for Vertex, it's cystic fibrosis. They also have that partnership with the CRISPR technology, to help with the sickle cell anemia and things like that. So they've got a lot of different things, irons in the fire. And yeah, this is just what pullback. It's not having any effect on it at all. The market.
Let's go to Regeneron. Harold tried to pop out on Friday, pulled back in.
Yeah, so here was one that yeah, so it pulled back in, which is not unusual. Hit the pivot, pull back a little bit, pull back on some light volume. So the volume so far today is light, even though it's up slightly. So this is where you want to see it kind of hold here. I would put alert at the traditional pivot, because again, I want to see that stock prove itself to see if it has momentum to the upside. That is, so far it's looking good. You want to see it hold that little pullback where it is now, and see what happens. You may want to, if you're very aggressive, go to the 5-minute chart and see if you can find maybe an early entry in there, or for the conservative-minded person, use that traditional pivot. I'd be looking more at the traditional pivot, because again, I want to see this stock prove itself to me before I put some money to work. And that stock, when I see that, okay, we've got earnings, a couple weeks ago, that that's something you need to be aware of. But if earnings were not an issue, yeah, I'd still wait for that traditional pivot.
Okay. Ken, let's go to you and Eli Lilly, LLY.
Yeah, Lilly's a name that we've had on leaderboard for the better part of October. Very encouraged by its price action here. Still looks like a stock under accumulation. Hasn't been our entry was around 563, 564, and that was on October 6th is when we entered it right there. So good entry, sitting on a nice profit. If you don't own it, I would not chase it up here. Wait for a little pullback.
Okay. What about NVO, Justin?
Same situation. I mean, these both have potential, society changing drugs, and so both looking strong. And yeah, this is one where my wife is saying, how dare you? How could you have sold this one before? Because I sold it when it was not doing anything, and she's like, why wouldn't you hold this forever? And like, that's just not what I do. So she's like, okay, this might be another Netflix for me that I just want you to keep in my account and not touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're both looking very strong. I like the volume that's come in recently, and it's the thing about these drugs is that they're showing strength for a lot of different things. So as more of these studies get done, these are already established for one thing, so you don't have to worry as much about the side effect parts. But it's like, oh, what else can these help with?